Now we move on to the NFL draft. Another day, another positive story about Tua. This time he underwent a voluntary medical recheck. This with an NFL-approved doctor in Nashville where Tua is working out. And results were, quote-unquote, overwhelmingly positive. That according to Tua's reps. So, Shannon, are you still sticking with Tua over Joe Burrow?
I am, Skip. I believe he'll be a better pro because I've seen more consistency longer. Now, Joe Burrow, Skip, I believe he had the greatest season ever for a player, especially a quarterback. No, we're going to exclude running backs. But for a quarterback, Skip, you don't go 60-5 and you beat, 7, 8 top 10 teams and the consistency week in and week out. But, Skip, remember, it was 1 year. His junior year, we remember what happened. He was not this. And so I tend to lean to someone that's done it for an extended period of time as opposed to someone that seemingly had a flash in the pan season. Now, Skip, he could turn out to be great, but what we've seen from quarterbacks is that the ones that do it for an extended period of time, the Peyton Mannings, the Andrew Lucks, the guys that are starting, Drew Breeses, the Phillip Rivers, the Roethlisbergers, even though Roethlisberger came out early, Skip, he was a starter for a number of years. Now, Cam had a great career, even though he only did it 1 year at the major college level. But more times than not, Skip, when we see guys have those one great college seasons, they don't normally transfer over to the NFL. Skip, you look at Tua as a 2-year starter, 76 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Quicker release, better accuracy. Skip, he can make all the throws. And I get, everybody, he's injury prone. See, the thing is, Skip, like in major college sports, and it's going to be like this in the NFL, if you get injured, they're going to try to get you out there as soon as possible, get you to return to the field. And if that means, Skip, well, if you heal up on your own, it'll take you 6 weeks. We can do this surgery and get you back in 4. Which one do you think they're going to opt for? The player and the team. And that's what happens. I believe, hey, he had those ankle injuries, heal up on their own. It's like, man, the season's going to be over. We need you back out there. We're trying to win a title. He has the tightrope or whatever it's called, Skip, had the surgery that helped him get back to the field sooner. So, but for me, Skip, I don't know if he's going to be there at 5 for the Miami Dolphins, but Skip, they have the ammunition to move up 1 or 2 spots. They have 5 picks in the first 2 rounds, and they got 4 picks next year in the first 2 rounds. So they have the ammunition to go up maybe 1 or 2 spots to ensure themselves of getting a quarterback, Skip. They need a quarterback of the future. And I believe that the gap between 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5 is vast. I would take Tua. I like Tua as the best quarterback in this draft. But it seems to me, Burrow being from Ohio, Cincinnati has the first pick, it seems like a no-brainer to me. But I would take Tua because I believe he will be the best of the pros, in the pros.
Okay. I'm going to start with your last point first. And I'm going to say that I've heard several reports, one from Jeff Darlington of ESPN, who I believe is based in Miami, saying that the Dolphins actually favor Burrow over Tua. So the issue becomes for the Dolphins, I think, more upside down than you think, which is they have to decide, do they want to pay the supreme freight that would be required to move from 5 to 1 to swap places with the Bengals? Because remember, Miami has 3 first-round picks. So would the Bengals take the 5th pick and then the 2 next ones down the line to swap from 5 to 1 for Burrow? I don't think the Bengals would or should, because Joe Burrow is made for them. And I believe Burrow is much better than Tua. And I like Tua. I just don't love him. But you mentioned accuracy. Listen, I've never seen better accuracy than I saw from Joe Burrow last year, because I can't remember in any game that I watched from start to finish, and I probably watched 6 or 7, I don't remember him missing a single throw, especially down the stretch, starting with the SEC championship game. He did not miss a throw. But before we get to performance, let's talk about durability, because also speaking of ESPN, I heard Rex Ryan say today that his sources around the league, and I'm sure he's got many, given his track record, but that he's told Tua has had 5 surgeries already. Now, to your point, they might have been get well quicker surgeries, you know, where during the season you got to have your knee scoped, but you don't tell the media so you can take your quote-unquote sprained knee and get over it quicker and get back on the football field. But maybe he's had a couple of knee scopes. I don't know, but for sure he's had 2 what's called tightrope surgeries, as you point out, on each ankle. And then he had a very serious career-threatening surgery on a fractured hip that can derail players, and it can make you vulnerable down the line. Apparently, the doctor yesterday and the doctor before that said, hey, he looks 100% to those 2 doctors, so God bless him because he's a good kid. He's a spiritual kid. He's hugely liked in the locker room. I have no doubt about his leadership skills, but there's something about Joe Burrow that I like even more as a leader because this guy's got swagger to him. This guy has got an attitude. The first time I noticed this guy was when they were playing Texas on that Saturday night. I started watching the game, and I couldn't turn it off because I thought Texas was really good at that point, and they turned out to be pretty good, but Joe Burrow destroyed them. That night he threw for 471, 31 of 39, 4 touchdowns, and had a 92 QBR, and at the end of the game, I see him over on the sidelines pointing at Longhorn fans up in the stands saying, I shut you up, and I shut you up, and I shut you up. And I'm like, whoa, can you back that up? Well, he went to Florida and backed that up with a 98 QBR. And then you know what happened at Tuscaloosa. He had a 97 QBR. That day, Tua had a 73 QBR, so he dramatically outplayed him at Tuscaloosa. Then Georgia in the SEC game, he has a 97 QBR, again, scale 0 to 100. That was 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. And then he absolutely annihilated my Oklahoma Sooners for 493 and 7 touchdowns, also ran for a touchdown, no interceptions, 99 QBR, almost perfect. Clemson, the national championship game, he had a 98 QBR. So just on the games from the SEC championship through the final, he was 16 touchdowns to no interceptions and an average QBR of 98, scale of 0 to 100. That's off the charts. That's never been done. That's all-time, all-time. I thought, going back to the Baker Mayfield year, he had the greatest year I'd ever seen. Then I thought Kyler had the greatest year on top of Baker. And now it's Joe Burrow. And I don't see anything not to like about a 6'4" quarterback.
But the thing is, Skip, you mentioned that one season. He did play his junior year, right? When he was awful.
Yep.
He was awful. Now, Tua has put together, you know, he came in, he played a little bit when Jalen Hurts, as a true freshman. I think Jalen Hurts was a sophomore, and he came in when Jalen Hurts, where they'd have a big lead, and he would come in the game and he would throw his touchdowns. You're like, okay, yeah. But Skip, I didn't know he was this good. You know, I just thought, okay, everybody got their backups in. He's Alabama. Alabama backup should be better than the teams they're playing backup, rightfully so. It wasn't, Skip, until he got into that national championship game against Georgia, and you watch him spin the football, you're like, this kid is special. And the throw that he made to Devontae Smith, where he holds the safety and he throws the ball on the rail and gets cover 2. Now, obviously, Skip, it was a blown coverage because the corner should have kept sinking and the safety should have split, but hey, they didn't. That's neither here nor there. But he did a great job of staring the safety down and throwing the ball to the rail. If what you've seen over the last 2 years hasn't impressed you about Tua, Skip, you're never going to be impressed. 76 and 9. That's even better than Joe Burrow.
Okay, but Shannon, in some of the biggest games, I was not impressed. I thought he lost his poise. I thought he started to unravel. You can blame it on injury in that first SEC championship game against Georgia 2018. He hurt his knee early in the game. I don't know what was exactly wrong with it, but he was 10 of 25 for 164 and 2 interceptions, had a QBR of only 29. That's when he got replaced in the fourth quarter, yanked in favor of Jalen Hurts, who outscored Georgia 14-0 in the fourth and brought them back and saved the season and won that game for them. Then against Clemson, national championship game, Tua was 2 interceptions and a 59 QBR. And then I mentioned the game against LSU this year. He threw for 418. It was pretty good, but he missed so many throws in that game. It was 21 of 40, and I thought he was off target much of the time. So, look, he had two receivers. Yeah, go ahead.
Coach Belichick defense let him down. Isn't that what you always tell me? When Tom Brady has monster days and they lose, it's the defense. Coach Saban defense let him down.
I think Joe Burrow showed him up. And remember, listen, Tua had 2 receivers in Judy and Ruggs who are going to go in the top 15 of the draft. And you mentioned Devontae Smith, and then there's Jalen Waddle, who are both there. They both could be first-round picks before all is said and done. So that's an unbelievable, you talk about the 4 horsemen that he was throwing to, and I give you, Burrow had 4 good ones himself, but I don't think they were quite as good as those 4. So I don't know. I'm afraid those receivers might have helped make Tua as much as Tua was making himself. So in the end, Shannon, I just don't know. Joe Burrow, I give you, it was just 1 year, but it wasn't just a one-hit wonder. It was game after game after game after game after game. I've never seen such a sustained streak of excellence from a college quarterback before. And he did stay healthy. He did take a lot of punishment. He is durable. He's not brittle. He's not fragile the way Tua appears he could be going forward into pro football. I just think Tua is high risk.
Well, hey, hold on, Skip. I think he broke his wrist or he broke his arm. Remember, that's what held him back at Ohio State. He broke something, and he ended up losing the job, and that's why he transferred.
Okay, but Tua, I didn't even mention he broke his finger on his left hand, his throwing hand. He had a badly pulled quad. It just seemed like it was one thing after another. But you just brought up Coach Belichick, so let's talk Patriots. The Bills GM said yesterday the Patriots are still the team to beat in the AFC East, and I'm not buying it. That's next here on